Hello, everyone, and welcome back to another episode of the 5 to 9 Job podcast. I'm your host, Raymond, and today's episode is another bonus episode, another diary entry episode. Well, so I hope you are all doing well. Today, I'm actually experimenting with both microphones to see if I can just get a crack on this audio thing. I don't know why it just completely nags at me that my audio is not yet so good, and yet I put in some money. I haven't yet bought the right equipment, yes, but I'm still trying to do this low budget. In other words, we just reached 200 streams on Spotify. Okay, for the Spotify analytics, the analytics that Spotify gives me on the hosting platform. Anyway, 200 streams on about 35 episodes. That would average about 5.7 listeners per episode, I think. Yeah, 5.7 listeners, of which I am at least one, because I am a douchebag. I do listen to my own episodes or my own podcast. But anyway, I'm just, I listen to so many podcasts and audio clips and watch so many YouTube videos that my audio just seems to, I think, just nag me because of that, because I listen to how good their content is, and then I listen to how bad mine is, and I just have this conflict within me. Anyway, 200 streams was a good benchmark for us, or a good goal for us to hit. We still need more, maybe 200 million. I don't know. Yeah, but obviously the 5.7 is an average mark. I do know the Andrew episode had 16. Okay, without YouTube, because I don't know. Some platforms are not well integrated within the hosting platform, so you don't get the right metrics from all the platforms, something like that. But it gives you a good ballpark figure to base your motivation on, if you are looking for motivation when you are trying to do this podcast thing. But anyway, it's still the best performing podcast, and I think it's because I had someone else on the podcast. It wasn't just my voice. Unfortunately, the episode I recorded with Brian was trashed. The audio was just really bad, and I just couldn't subject you guys to it. Wow, I think there is a trend around this audio thing. So maybe I might need to put in a few extra dollars to buy good microphones. Or if you can plug me with a good microphone, just hit me up at the 5 to 9 Job podcast on all social platforms. Just DM me and I'll be able to respond. Maybe we can work together. I can give you some money and say thank you for listening to the podcast. Anyway, only those who listen will get this. Okay, so what's been going on with the podcast? Just an update. I'm planning to record more and more episodes as this month goes on. I recently took the decision to leave my 5 to 9 job. I might be going into another, or just branching out to do something else, but whatever comes out of this, it's just that I won't be able to have somewhere I clock into, or I won't be clocking into the same place for my 9 to 5 like I've been doing for the last 2.5 years that I've been with the company I am still working for, but won't be at end of month. So I've been using a quiet space at the office to record, and it has been better than recording at home, because with home there are a lot of echoes in the audio. So I'm trying to get as many episodes as possible recorded before I leave, so that I have that gap to sort of find another recording space or somewhere I can get better quality from. So that's mostly it about the podcast. And then with work, with life, I'm just finding more ways to be less stressed, and enjoying the process more, not necessarily looking for happiness, because, it's not a vague term, but it's kind of hard to pinpoint what happiness truly is with everything that is happening. I'm just trying to enjoy the process. I think trying to search for happiness, or it is a good pursuit, yes, searching for happiness, yes, and trying to be more happy in the like the things you do and everything that you are trying. But I think enjoying the process is a far better pursuit than, labeling it as happiness. Anyway, I think I have actually already kick-started off the thoughts and everything. So let's see what I have in my notes for this week. Number one on my list is actually procrastination. So for this one, I was actually listening to a Mark Manson episode. I don't remember the guest that was on the podcast when they talked about this, but they were talking about procrastination with Drew, and they were talking about how it is more a feeling and how it is tied to emotions because it's a result of not wanting to do something. Like what that basically means, it's like a feeling. I don't feel like doing this. I don't want to do this. That is what procrastination is. And the example he used was Netflix. Have you ever realized that we don't procrastinate on the things we like? Just like think TikTok, think Spotify, think entertainment, things we feel like doing or want to do. We don't procrastinate on those. And we actually do the opposite, which is procrastinate using them. So you realize you procrastinate using TikTok, using your Netflix, your Spotify. So I just went and asked myself another question, like on the side, why do activities like Netflix win, and why do we fail on like the important things? And here is my hypothesis, okay, that I just wanted to share. So the first one was instant gratification. Watching Netflix feels good right then. Like immediately you start binging a show, you are already hooked. You get it? Like there is nothing like, you'll be paid at the end of the month for not watching. No, it is you're paid immediately. Like it's instant gratification. It's entertaining, it's comforting. There is zero effort on your side, maybe with the subscription and everything, but it's not like reading a book, which is the complete opposite. You need to focus, you need to keep your mind on what you are doing. Two is that it has very low stakes involved, and I mean there is no risk, there is no fear of failure, there are no big decisions to make. It's just you, your phone, and then the next episode or the next TikTok. Very simple. And then maybe the third one is the built-in rewards. Social media and all these streaming platforms are designed to keep you hooked, essentially. So they have the auto scroll, they have the algorithms, the autoplay, those cliffhangers, those, binge worthy storytelling. You guys, these guys are engineering more and more ways to keep us hooked onto all the content that we are consuming. And they just make you stay there. And that's why these things always win. You realize, let me say, like for TikTok, when I am trying to leave my TikTok on my Android, yes. So when I'm trying to leave TikTok on Android, when you press back, it actually doesn't like take you out of the app. Like when you want to exit an app, that button down there you press to exit an app, it doesn't take you like out of the app like it will do for like WhatsApp and the others. No, it will actually just scroll and show you the next video. And if you take like 3 more seconds without pressing back again, and you press it again, it will show you the next video until you press back twice. It doesn't exit the app. Why? That is all just engineering you to stay on the app. And literally, you'll press back and it will pop up the best video to keep you hooked based on your algorithm. And then you just find yourself, regardless of the fact that you have decided, okay, maybe what? This is my last TikTok, I'm going to go off. You press back once and then it shows you, not like for me, it is tennis. Tennis is going to do it for me. It shows me a good shot of Djokovic playing Alcaraz. You guys, I liked that match, Australian Open. Djokovic was a beast. Yes, he retired in the next game against Zverev, but all-time best. He's the GOAT. I don't care what you guys say. He is the GOAT. Anyway, just compare that to the big things in life, reading a book, sending emails, even simple stuff like showering. Yes. These all require effort. They require planning. They require patience, of which not many of us have that as a virtue. But the rewards don't come instantly. You get it? And there is always this fear of failure lurking in the background. When you send an email, it may not be received well. When you are setting out to read a book, all this hard stuff don't have instant gratification, and then they always have a cost, attached to them. Hence, we procrastinate. And I mean, there are maybe lots of reasons why people like procrastinate, like genuine reasons. Yes, I do believe there are genuine reasons. In my personal case, it's perfectionism. I tell myself more times than I would like to that when it comes to this podcast, let me give an example of the podcast. If I can't do something perfectly, then it shouldn't be done at all. That's what I tell myself. So I put it off and just keep putting it off and off and off. Very simple things like writing a script, my God, recording, and then it's just a nightmare trying to record a script that you have written and you feel like it's good, and then while you are recording it doesn't come out the way you want it to be, and you definitely know this is not going to be something people want to listen to. So I just keep on putting it off and off, because when you do a recording and let me say it's terrible, you need to re-record, and then you find yourself procrastinating on that just because there is this fear of it being terrible again, or there is no instant reward of you seeing people listening and commenting on your content, in other words. And to be sincere, sometimes it's just that you are sincerely overwhelmed, with everything you have to do, with all the expectations you have. And the sheer size of the task can make it hard for you to know where to start. Like currently, maybe just to give another example, editing a 2 hour episode myself would be, a 2 3 hour episode would be like a lot. And trust me, I know I would definitely procrastinate. And that's just an example of having a task that is just big in size, and that's why you procrastinate on it. So there are definitely reasons why people, like genuine reasons why people procrastinate on most things. How do we beat Netflix and TikTok? What I'm trying to say is, how do we stop procrastinating on the things that we need to do, on the things that matter? And maybe I'll just do a full episode on this. But the number one thing I know that works is to start small and with one task. So if it's, let me say, like doing the dishes, you just start with one. Just tell yourself, you know what, I'm going to go up to the sink, I'm going to wash one plate. And then after that one, force yourself to do the next one. Force yourself to pick up another cup. Force yourself to pick up the dishes, to do the first pan. You get it? Small steps incrementally done, just to kind of cut that task down by size and just, get it done. And I hope that by taking this advice, what happens is that you don't just wash one cup and then go back to binging just because I say it start with one. That is just the advice I'm giving you. But, one thing to remember at the end of it all is that at the end of the day, the choice is simple, and all you need to do is to make that one choice. So I hope this helps with anyone that is struggling with procrastination in any way or form. Okay, on to the next one. I have in my notes here written, don't lose what you have to what you have already lost. I actually like this one because I had it from somewhere. I just don't remember where, but let me explain it this way. How much of your time, your energy, and your heart are you giving to something that is already gone? Chasing things you know deep down you will never get back. It's this whole thing of getting stuck in a sunk cost fallacy, convincing yourself or convincing ourselves that just because we have invested so much into something, into a relationship, into an investment, we should just keep going on. And it obviously applies to a lot of stuff. But the learning point in this was that sometimes resilience isn't going to do you much. It's going to be about learning when to let go, having realistic grit, in other words. So asking yourself, am I chasing this because I still believe in it, or is it because I'm afraid to actually admit that it is over? And this commonly applies to relationships and in projects and everything, your dream and anything that you are involved in that you don't want to let go of, but you know deep down within you that, what, this is something I should have already let go of. You just basically need to reframe this and understand that letting go isn't going to be failure all the time. Sometimes you're going to need to let go of something, and it doesn't mean that you are a loser. No, you are not. You are definitely not a loser for knowing when to let something go. So the whole premise of this whole section that I was talking about is you shouldn't lose what you have, your time, your peace, your potential, to something that you have already lost, to something that you should have given up already. Just accept that it has been lost and then move on to the next thing. Transfer that energy, that money, that focus into something else and work on that. Otherwise, just have realistic grit is what I want you guys to take away from this. Okay, and then on to the next one. Your personality isn't a problem to fix. This one was more of a reflection for me to be patient with myself. Sometimes our personality and tendencies are not problems to work on and fix about ourselves all the time. Sometimes it might actually come down to, genetics and just being the fact that that's how you are or who you are. And then some of it is just how you have learned to navigate the world. If any one of you is introverted like myself, it would be cruel to beat yourself up for not networking with everyone at an event, having so many friends and trying to build this whole big circle around you, things like that, just because that's not your disposition. Essentially, what I'm saying is that not everything you don't like about you should be turned into this project that you go to work on every day and try to change. You see, instead of beating yourself up, start asking yourself, how can I work with this? How can I turn this weakness into a strength? Because I can assure you, there will be environments where being an introvert actually helps you. There are definitely going to be times and places where being an introvert actually gives you the edge. So, in other words, what I was just trying to reflect on was that I have this list of things that I think are holding me back, or things that I think I should adjust within my lifestyle, within who I am, and in my personality. But some of these things, I am just trying to, sort them out and see what actually needs to be repaired. Now, like, my communication is bad. That is something I can learn, and that is something I can change. My being an introvert, on the other side, is who I am. Now, can I definitely shift myself towards being more, extrovert, and maybe going towards the middle? Maybe yes. But should I pressure myself into beating myself up for not being as extroverted as all these other podcasters are? Definitely not. That is not going to be healthy for anyone involved. Whether it is me, whether it is you, whether it is the people that you work with, just try to understand that sometimes personality, yes, deals the cards, but you need to work with what you have. That is what is going to give you the edge over everyone else. So, in other words, I'm not telling you to be self-compassionate and use it as an excuse to stay the same, but I'm telling you to use it as a foundation to become better, in other words. So, this note is to myself, but I think will help every one of us to just stop belittling ourselves. And yeah, I think that's all I have to say about this. But yes, everything that is you, your personality, is not going to be a problem that you have to fix, a project that you have to work on. No, some things are just you, and you can definitely work with them. And then 3 on my list here is you don't have to do everything. I have been guilty of actually trying to do it all, saying yes to everything, like I've told you guys before on the previous episodes, that I said yes to a lot of things last year just because I wanted to do everything. It got to a point whereby I felt like I was in a jungle of opportunities that were coming my way, and I was just saying yes to everything. So I got so crowded. My life literally started to break down around me because I was missing all these deadlines and targets. But like I've shared, I am learning that you don't have to do everything. This is actually more of a reminder to me and to you, or to some of you, to just keep this front of mind this year, to really focus on what truly matters, cut out the noise, because coincidentally, sometimes less is more. Saying no to the wrong things literally makes space for the right ones to just, sip through the cracks and occupy your life, give you all this happiness. And I'm thinking that's where the real progress is, focusing on the little and being good at that. And I would actually like to recommend that you all try that out. So yes, you don't have to do everything. And maybe another thing I can add to this is that it doesn't have to be you to do everything. Sometimes we think that in the jobs that we have to be the one to make that call. We have to be the one to share that meeting. We have to be the ones to press that one button that hires this person. No, you definitely don't have to be the one that does it all. It could be done by another person. So yeah, you don't have to do everything. Okay, and then lesson 4. is something I picked up from Grant Cardone. So, for all of you that don't know who Grant Cardone is, he is a businessman, he is a real estate investor, he's a sales trainer, he's a motivational speaker, and he has this style. He has a bold style. Like, he's not Devin Goggins' energy, but he has that aggressive business like mindset. And actually, what I am going to talk about is an extract from a motivational speech that I had. He was in an interview and he was asked about some things, and this is what he shared. So he's just a business guy. He's big on building wealth. He has had a lot of success. And in this interview that I was listening to, the big idea that he was sharing was that wealth is not about saving, it's about multiplying. So it is better to have a wealth strategy that helps you to multiply, other than trying to save, and think that you are, getting ahead of people when you are actually just playing it way too safe to be doing anything. So one was never spend primary income on lifestyle. So primary income being your 9 to 5 job, or this one business that gives you that, like, your first source of income. In other words, your main source of income should not go into lifestyle. So it shouldn't be into, going out, all those things. No. Your main income should go into assets that grow your wealth. So if you want to buy, let me say, luxuries, let your investments pay for them instead. So your primary income goes into an investment, let me say, like a trust or something like an investment, bonds. And then that money that you get out of the assets, if it's a business, is what pays for your lifestyle. So you don't directly spend your primary income. No, you let assets buy you the luxuries that you want instead of using your income to buy the luxuries that you want. Just adding one step in the process. And then two was teach your kids about money. And he was just telling this story of how he talks about money with his kids. You realize in the African households, we don't talk about money a lot. I mean, families will be there, and the only thing they talk about is grandmom did this uncle did this one didn't go to school, and you rarely see people talking about, this is how I am investing this is, I bought this kind of asset, land this side. People treat those topics as taboo. So instead, he was like, instead of having those topics closed off, involve your kids in those topics. Instead of giving kids an allowance, pay them like for the work they do, so that they know that money needs to be earned instead of just like receiving them. So they don't receive allowances, they receive pay for the work that they have done. But then he added another step to this. Instead of giving them the money like directly, he actually invests it into Cardone Capital, like his capital firm, and then they get the dividends from what he like invested for them. So let me say, if your kid he has been doing work around for you, and let me say at the end of the year, you pay him a lump sum of like 3M. So he doesn't get that 3M. That 3M goes into, let me say, like a trust or buying an investment or something like that generates cash flow. He then gets to live off the money that investment generates, instead of having them, just be like trust fund kids. Anyway, his financial model was a bit complex, and I definitely won't do his interview justice, but you can just go and listen to it. I'll just link it. The other third one was invest in assets where you can't lose your capital, was another thing. So, there is taking risks with all these other investments that we make, but you should have something in your portfolio that you play safe in. Play it safe with investments that protect your money. Things like real estate, whereby the investment is backed up by the real estate itself. Businesses with strong cash flows. Things that don't just depend on the stock market, on whether who is president, things like that. And then 4, do not save money, invest it. This one, I already talked about it. Once you are saving, you are losing. You're being beaten by inflation, but the goal is to make the money work for you. And it's the same thing with Rich Dad, with all these other guys. They say once you are saving, you are losing. If you're not investing, you are still losing. So yeah, I think the name of the game is just invest. And then the 5th one, which was just mindset, and you guys will know that I love these mindset things, is that your words shape your reality. So if you say, I will never make $1 billion, you're definitely not going to make it. You have already told yourself it's impossible. You have given up before you start, and the universe is going to listen to that, and then work accordingly. It's going to give you problems that stop you from making $1 billion. If you talk about it and you say, I will make $1 billion, and you work towards that, then the universe again listens to you and says, you know what, this guy might just want this. So let's give it to him. And I guess those are the 5 things that I picked out from the interview and I wanted to share. So 1 is never spend your primary income on lifestyle. Always invest into assets and then live off those assets. Same thing is teach your kids about money, talk about it with your kids. Invest in assets where you can't lose your capital. So, strong assets. And then don't save your money, invest it. And then 5, your words shape your reality. So be careful about what you say. Okay, and then on to the next one. This entry was actually just an observation and one I think we should literally take as seriously as we can. I was walking around and observing how everyone around me lived their lifestyle. So how they walked, how they looked, how they felt, and I realized a lot of us are literally damaging our health. You will rarely see a person on the street that is fit. Like, they don't have excess weight that they can get off. They don't have, like, let's just call it excess weight. I'm not going to name parts or, going into talking about something like in detail, but many of us are living a lifestyle that literally doesn't support us being alive for the next 50 years. I don't know if you get that. And it's so wild how everyone is, they get to office, they sit, they don't do anything at all, like no form of exercise. And they just literally get all these signs around them, You go with someone on a walk and they are tired. You climb 3 flights of stairs with someone and they are panting by the second. And you're like, okay, you know what? This might be a problem. And I literally see it everywhere. It is alarming that no one is talking about this in Uganda. There are people outside there that are exercising, going to gyms and everything. But the majority, guys, it's really bad. I see older people struggling and I cringe, not just because of their age, but because I know they can definitely feel better if they just did some exercise. I want to be the guy that is healthy at 60, bench pressing, playing tennis, running around with my grandkids and kids. And for some of these guys, I don't see their lifestyle going towards that. So I just wanted to put this out there. You need to stay fit and stay healthy. You guys, prioritize your health and fitness. I don't know where you're going to get the money to pay for a gym and where you guys just get a sport. Sports, like I said in one of my episodes, is one of the best ways to get a workout in without, having to have a routine with it. Sports are interactive. They are the best cheat code to staying fit. So get something. Pedal boy is getting like explosive in Uganda. Guys are playing tennis, guys are playing football on these evening pitches, guys are going for runs in the evening. Join something, do something. Do not let yourself lose your health over just something you could have done if you had just sacrificed, let me say, 2 hours a week into. We don't get to choose everything, like in sickness, genetics, accidents, but fitness, that is literally on us. And honestly, I wish I was more involved. Yes, but even more, I wish more of us were more involved. So yeah, just get yourself up, get some jogging shoes, get something in sports and go do it. That's just my humble request. If you can just like take away anything from this episode, go and do some exercise. If you already don't, if you already are, do some more. Yeah, I'm not letting you guys off the hook. Anyway, just in the spirit of sports, I actually watched a Nike ad that I liked. This was an ad that these guys did for the Olympics last year, so Olympics 2024. Nike had an ad that I'm going to say has been the best ad I've seen from last year, of which I view a lot of ads just because I'm interested in marketing, branding, and everything, and I help out sometimes with one of my friends. Anyway, if you haven't watched it, just go and check it out. It's called Am I a Bad Person? So this ad goes through all these like stories of these guys. Okay, it's literally a story, although it's not like showing you from beginning to end, but it goes through all these athletes that have signed with Nike. So LeBron James, Serena Williams, Roger Federer, It just shows snapshots of them doing their craft. And then there is a voiceover in the background that says, am I a bad person for wanting what I want, for wanting what you have, for wanting to win, regardless of the fact that I have to sacrifice all these nights, regardless of the fact that I have to beat you, you have to lose so that I win, for being relentless. I mean, it just had this egocentric energy that I liked. And, it is, it just comes at a time when everyone is trying to be nice to everyone. But the truth is, to be good, to be a high performer, you're going to have to be a bad person even when you don't like it. Like, you're going to have to beat other people. You're not going to be able to always get a win-win situation every time, you know? It just had all these world-class athletes showcasing their sacrifice, their hunger, and it spoke to me. Let's just say. So if you have been feeling guilty of wanting more, for being ambitious, maybe just go and watch it, and maybe you'll feel like I felt good after watching that. Like, yeah, I'm not a bad person. I want it and I'm going to get it. Does that make me a bad person? That was literally what the whole ad was on. So yeah, just go and check out that Am I a Bad Person on, I think, YouTube. I think it's there. Yeah, I don't think it's there on YouTube because I actually downloaded it and posted it on my status. So just go check it out, guys. Okay, and then lastly, and also on social media. Anyway, this one was a realization I had this week, and I just wanted to share it with everyone because I definitely know other people are going through this. So, what is social media obsession? And then verse that or compare that to fake productivity. You realize that most of us mask our productivity with being obsessed or being glued to our screens. Like, let me say, to give you a very relatable example, I do content. So usually I'll be on TikTok, I'll be on Instagram trying to get inspiration, like trying to see what other people are posting, trying to see what other people are reacting to, and how, like, which content is doing well. And most of us go to these motivational channels and we watch a few motivational videos and we're like, yeah, I feel like a beast. Or you go to, I don't know, like on the front line, you watch something about the political scene, you go to news, watch something like that. Everything on social media, literally. So we start to paint this picture of, yeah, I have done good by watching that video because I think it will do this. You get it? And it kind of gives you this permission to keep on watching more and more. And then you'll reach a point whereby it's no longer research, you're just enjoying the content that you are watching. So literally, you're just being on social media. You get it? I had a wake-up call, sincerely. I have been lying to myself, and I think most of us are doing the same. I follow all these self-improvement pages, so I download motivational videos. I save as must watch, or watch later. I put them in my playlists, and then I never actually go back to it. I keep telling myself I'm being productive, but all I'm doing is collecting content and doing nothing with it. And that's the truth. Just look at yourself and have a hard talk with yourself. Trust me, watching something isn't learning unless you have a pen and paper down and you are actually learning. Saving a video isn't progress unless you are actually, like, doing something after you watch that video. Consuming motivation isn't the same as taking action, and it will never be. So are we trying to watch all these and producing all this fake productivity that we are confusing it for social media obsession? I don't know. If you have been hoarding, let me say, knowledge without using it, is that right? Does that make you better than another person that sits on their TikTok and says, yes, I am burning away this time and I'm not going to be a hypocrite about it, other than you who keeps, saving all these videos that you don't go back to? Is it time to be real with yourself? Knowledge is not going to be useful unless you apply it. And I guess that is something I need to improve on personally. And I thought to share with you because I think many of us fall into this trap. So I hope I haven't attacked you a lot. I hope you still listen to this podcast tomorrow, the next day, and don't hate me. But yeah, I think that is everything that I had to say about the small notes I had in this week's podcast. So thank you all for listening to the 5 to 9 Job podcast with me, Raymond. If you liked anything that I shared in this episode, please share it with someone else. Please like on the platform that you are listening to. Follow us for more content, and always just keep us front of mind. We will be here every week for the rest of your life. So that sounded so creepy, but anyway, just keep coming back to our content, and I guess I'll see you in the next episode. Bye bye.